Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our final race of Season 8 Bette Jalle. So we go into this final race, and you know, it's not a runaway. Certainly tight up at the top. Greeny and Big Baguette are two contenders who have legitimate shots to take home the cup after this race. Greeny just 6 points ahead of Big Baguette. It has widened out just a little bit past that point, with Vapor Cobalt also 24 points behind, having an outside shot at the cup title for Season 8. But certainly a lot of things would have to go perfectly for him to have any sort of actual chance at it. So everyone, you know, strap in and get ready for our final F1 race of the season. Certainly has been an absolute joy to watch, to commentate on, and certainly will be sad to see it gone by. But that being said, only a week down before we get started on Season 9. So do enjoy the race today. Hey there, Lesty. Good to see you, buddy. Always happy to have you in the chat. So a little bit about the Abu Dhabi track. It's one of the newer tracks on the Formula One set, with its first race being in, I believe, 2010. 21 turns on this bad boy. A little bit of a longer track, coming in just a little over 5.5 kilometers. Lots of nice things to be said about this track, which is, again, only 10 or so years old. I'd say the one takeaway from some comments I've heard about this particular track is that it's a pretty tough little track. The first few turns seem to be a lot of fun for many different drivers. So as we get underway here in qualifying, let's see who are we following here. Let's take a look up with Nicholas Volkmann. Let's see, one driver out ahead of Nicholas Volkmann. That would be KJ, perhaps? Yeah, it looks like KJ's leading the way in qualifying. He's the first one out of the pits on his outlap, so we'll tag along with him. And I will take you through the track as we come to it. So last season, we saw Vapor Trench get the win here. Big Baguette took second. Red Sniper I should say, finished in third. Greeny actually DNF'd here last year, which could be very, very interesting, as DNF here could cost him the season title. So certainly hoping that Greeny manages to keep it on the track. Could be quite a bit of fun, as we see now KJ on his hot lap. Picking up here with turn 7, it's almost full 180-degree turn. This would be the longest straight on the track, just a little over a full kilometer. That takes us all the way up to turn 8, which is a little past 90-degree left turn into turn 9, which is a little under a 90-degree right turn. After that little waggle of turn 10 here, you'll barely feel it as you're coming around. This basically plays as a straight, I would imagine. Turn 11 is going to be just at about 90 degrees to the left, followed by a quick right of turn 12, right into another quick left of turn 13. Turn 14 is almost going to be an exact 90-degree left turn. Bit of a straight here, takes you into turn 15. Barely feel that whatsoever. Turn 16, maybe a little tap of the brake, hard on the brakes to turn 17, and then a left turn 18. Brings you into yet another left of turn 19. This takes you up to turn 20. And then the final turn 21, which takes you across that start-finish line. And there you have it. That's the track here at Abu Dhabi, the Yas Marina track as it's known. You can see here, currently KJ does well to earn pole. Only a couple drivers have finished those hot laps though, as we see Josh Smith has been disqualified. Let's see here, who else are we looking at? New fellow Bostrap is on his hot lap, spins just a little bit, so probably not much of a challenge with that one. Meanwhile, Vichensky is coming around the little hiccup section of turn 8 and 9, heading into this back borderline straight. I guess you can't really call it straight because it is a bit of a curve to it. Hitting turns 11, 12, and 13 with good pace. Stay here for now with Vichensky and see how he does in the rest of this qualifying. We do have qualifying time from Big Baguette coming in just a little over minute 34.5 seconds. Certainly good for fifth. I'm sure he'll have another crack or two at it to see if he can start a little closer to the front, because you know once Greeny sets that time, he's going to be very tough to catch, so Big Baguette definitely wants to be able to hang with him in qualifying. Vichensky is good for 8th on that hot lap. Hop on board with good pal Lesty as he begins his hot lap coming into turns 3 and 4. Lesty is the first DRS zone in this heavy straight here. We'll come on to turns 8, 9, and 10 very, very quick. All depends on the kind of pace you can get out of here. That very much determines your sector too. Not a whole lot of places to pass here on the track at Abu Dhabi, as the walls tend to be pretty close to the track itself, so certainly hoping for the best. Hopefully people can stay out of those walls. We have a nice clean race for our final race of the season. As you see Lesty conquer the last few turns, coming up now onto turn 20, and finally, of course, 21. Oh, and he does invalidate coming out of turn 20. Unfortunately for Lesty, he'll head into the pits and have another go here shortly. Meanwhile, this check-in with Red Sniper Eye coming up that back straight. So it's a purple sector too, does Red Sniper Eye. Excellent work for him. Red Sniper Eye joined mid-season as a full-time driver, and honestly has performed pretty well. Certainly had a portion of the middle part of the season where he seemed to be competing for top 5s pretty much every race. He's been a little down since then. But certainly always a fun player to watch, and certainly brings the pace, absolutely. Let's see what kind of time Red Sniper gets. He jumps all the way up to 5th, jumping both Let's Get Fiscal, Big Baguette, and Big Baguette, that is. Let's Get Fiscal certainly looked, coming into the last few races, like he would be able to compete for a spot for the Cup. Unfortunately, just unable to hang, as currently Let's Get Fiscal is back about 54 points. There are a few times throughout the season that he was only back maybe 5 to 10 points of our leader. He's just a very consistent driver, but unfortunately does not manage to turn in a lot of those P1, P2s. Meanwhile, Trulson, pretty much bang on a minute 34 seconds is our pole. Still waiting on qualifying laps from Josh Smith, Leslie the Twig, Rotary Cloud, Greeny, Minnie Keller, and Gorlay. Minnie Keller is a name that I've not seen in here for a good long while. It's always good to see him back at it once again. Alright, let's see if we can find ourselves a hot lap as Nicholas Volkman begins a hot lap. We'll hop on with him and see how he does through Sector 1. So that's a purple Sector 1. That's very good for Nicholas Volkman. We'll see if he can continue that momentum into Sector 2. Quick break here through turns 8 through 10, as they are the conjoining factor between these two straights. And just to keep the tires off the grass there. Excellent work from Nicholas Wolfman. Let's see what kind of Sector 2 he's up to offer. Very nice Sector 2, not quite a purple, but he is shaving off a few tenths of a second from his first Sector 2, and on top of the purple Sector 1, he should be in pretty good shape to move up maybe inside that top 10, depending on what kind of Sector 3 he can get. Don't send it too far, that a boy. Nice control there coming into these very difficult turns 18 and 19. So out of turn 19 with good pace, heading up to turn 20. And then we've seen a couple of people invalidate off of turn 20, so nice work from Nicholas Wolfman there. Turn 21 handled like an absolute pro. He'll come across the line. Unfortunately, only moving up a few spots. I think the somewhat slower Sector 2 maybe cost him a little bit, as it looked like he was turning in pretty solid pace. We see Vapor Cobalt now set pole, managing to slip about a tenth of a second faster than Trulson. Still waiting on Greeny's qualifying lap, waiting with bated breath as he finally does come out of the pits with about 10 minutes of qualifying gone by. How this man qualifies and where this man qualifies, speaking of, we'll get to that in just a moment, as Big Baguette's gone ahead and taken pole, coming in about 0.3 of a second faster than Vapor Cobalt. That's exactly where Big Baguette not only wants to be, but really needs to be, as he's trying to overcome those 6 points of difference between himself and Greeny CFC. Certainly a battle of these two coming into this race. As Greeny begins this hot lap, we'll hop on and see what he can offer. As he comes through the first 4 turns, hitting turn 5. And as we all expected, there is a purple Sector 1 from Greeny. Let's see if he can turn in a purple Sector 2 as well. Sector 2 is pretty much filled with straights, so a lot of very quick times. It'll certainly be interesting to see if he can manage a purple Sector 2. Excellent exit there out of turn 10. So he hits the second DRS zone, managing to maintain the inside of that slight turn 10. Exactly where he wants to be as he shoots the outside coming into turn 11. Excellent work from Greeny there. Has to be very careful not to invalidate. Nice work. Almost sent it just a little bit wide, but able to hang on as he comes in now to the last few turns. About 20 seconds left to get across this line. He wants to be in the top 2 or 3 of qualifying. It's looking pretty good for him, I do have to say. Make sure he doesn't send it a little too wide. Looks good. Let's see where he comes across. And it's going to be, that's a purple lap. So he does indeed manage to shave 0.3 of a second off of Big Baguette's lead at pole. So Greeny and Big Baguette, numbers 1 and 2 right now, heading into this race. Certainly some time yet to see if anyone else can conquer pole, as we do have a few drivers that have the pace perhaps to be able to get into maybe a top 3 or 4 position. as we've now seen qualifying laps from all of our drivers with the exception of Rory Cloud. As Trulson's going to take another crack at it here on his hot lap. Into sector 3. Maybe a bit too heavy on the brakes there. Might cost him increase. Seeing now in the chat, Morgan235 comments Baguette for the championship, predicting a Greeny choke. You know, it does seem like Greeny has been able to come alive with this pressure, avoiding DNFs down the stretch of the season. So, you know, I wouldn't exactly count out a Greeny DNF, but he's had really good form through the last several races. So I just don't see it. I think Baguette's going to have to do his best to win it, just, you know, on his own volition. As you get a look at the tunnel coming out of pit row there. When this track was first built, there were some complaints about the exit from the pits, in that some drivers were concerned about safety coming out of those pits, worried that collisions would happen, and due to the turny nature of pit exit, it could cause some real pileups. That's yet to occur, but certainly something to keep in mind. As Nicholas Volkmann takes another crack here in qualifying, trying to shave off precious tenths of seconds to see if he can work his way up the leaderboard. He's about 0.08 of a second back from Josh Smithness. A little bit about the team standings. Team Ferrari, that's Josh Smithness and Greeny, leading the way, have it all but locked up. It would certainly be all but impossible for the second place team, Williams, to catch them. Williams, of course, is Vapor Cobalt's team. Didn't get a whole lot of help from his teammate, this man right here, Nicholas Volkmann. Volkmann did contribute 73 points to the cause, but they are currently in second in the team constructor standings. And Nicholas Volkmann will slide up maybe a spot or two into 14th currently. Passes Josh Smithness and Bostrup. Well, let's get Fiscal in the top 10. Maybe not exactly where he wants to be starting at 9th. Gonna have to start on those softer composite tires. Still a couple of drivers yet to really show off the pace that I know that they have. Crunchy Trees is a driver that certainly is capable of getting in the top 10. And Borlée has shown an excellent pace the last few weeks. I think Josh Smithness is definitely capable of cutting a few seconds off his time. But it still is the big two up at the top in qualifying, Greeny and Big Baguette. Vapor Trencher tires currently in 6th place in qualifying. Cloud will retire as well without setting a time, so he will start at the back of the pack today. Josh Smithness comes out of that back straight into turns 11 and 12. Josh Smith as will go ahead and invalidate that lap. So it looks like he'll be content to start that quarter of the pack here today. So it looks like our top 10 is going to be Greeny. Vapor Cobalt does set a time to pass Big Baguette. So Vapor Cobalt will have the clear landing in P2. Big Baguette will start in... Oh, as Big Baguette just answers back and sets pole. Oh my goodness. Well done, Big Baguette. That's exactly where you want to start. Manages to shave off about 0.6 of a second from his... and then Greeny comes and answers. Wow. So those two setting last moment times to move ahead. Back to 1 and 2, right? Kind of where they started. Greeny almost breaking that minute 33. As Let's Get Physical has slipped out of the top 10, so he'll be appreciating that, I would imagine. So Greeny on pole, Big Baguette will start second, Vapor Cobalt will definitely start third, Trulson will start fourth, Justice will start fifth. You know, I gotta say, Trulson has had some really good qualifyings. The last few races, he always seems to qualify in the top 5 or so. Definitely hoping that he maintains that pace heading into the next season. I think that he could certainly make some interesting things happen coming into next season. Anyway, so Vapor Trench will start in 6th, KJ in 7th, Machensky will start in 8th, Red Sniper will start in 9th, Vapor Ilion will start in 10th. And that's our top 10 heading into our final race of the season. Some pretty close margins, nothing too crazy. I'd say the closest, maybe this one, at about 2.5 hundredths of a second. Let's see, what else are we looking at here? Yeah, for the most part, relatively spread out. A pretty substantial gap between 1st and 19th of almost 3.5 seconds, so you can certainly see the difference in pace on the grid here today. So we had to spell this out, how Vapor Cobalt could potentially take the cup. It would be quite the upset because both Greeny and Big Baguette would have to DNF or finish outside of the top 10, which seems pretty unlikely given their track record, no pun intended. And Vapor Cobalt would have to win. No other position would do it. It would have to be a Vapor Cobalt win and a Greeny and Big Baguette DNF, or finishing outside the top 10. It's the only way for Vapor Cobalt to get it done today. Meanwhile, Big Baguette, with 6 points, basically has to finish about 2 positions ahead of Greeny. Certainly a tall order to do it at the best of times, and obviously as you get down the top 10, it might change to 3 or 4 positions he has to finish above Greeny. But I have a feeling that these two will be going at it, fighting for the race win here. As we get settled in for our formation lap, Greeny will lead us around the track in his usual Ferrari F1 vehicle. As we head on to the first of our straights, Greeny, of course, leading the pack around. We see Vapor Cobalt really warming up those tires. Justice, who missed a pretty big chunk of the middle part of the season, is back, qualifying in 5th. This man currently in 10th in the constructor standings. And he is in 10th with 64 points. Not too shabby considering he probably missed easily 5, maybe 7, 8 races. So certainly nice work for him to work his way back into the top 10 of the standings. 28 laps on the docket here in Abu Dhabi at the Yas Marina. Our final 28 laps of the season. As we see both Red Sniper and Vachensky disqualified from our formation lap, they will head back to the starting blocks. Not a lot of time missed as far as warming up the old tires as our drivers get settled in for the final time this season. I'm sure anticipation is a factor that these drivers will have to contend with. Can Greeny get the win here? Does he have a shot at taking home the cup? Currently 6 points ahead. He is very much in the driver's seat as the lights come off and come on, I should say, and off they go in Abu Dhabi. We are underway for the final time as we see Greeny and Big Baguette already going wheel to wheels. Big Baguette quickly gets by Greeny and takes the lead up at the front. Meanwhile, let's take a look in the back. It looks like everyone for the most part is clear and away. Definitely some very close racing here as we see, ooh, is that Fiscal or KJ? Oh yeah, it is Fiscal who has a collision falling all the way to the back. We saw him just kind of lose traction, just be spun out. That's bad luck for Let's Get Fiscal, and he'll probably have to head into the pits and then get underway from the very back of the grid. Meanwhile, Big Baguette still holding on to that lead that he took very early on in the race, pretty much right out of the start. Now it looks like Greeny, I should say, will allow Big Baguette to have that position. Also having some issues now currently in the back of the back. It looks like Bostrup, I'm not sure what happened to him there. So he gets back onto the track. There he is. Back underway. Let's see if he can keep the heat in on the old tires. We'll see how he hangs in there. Oh, Vapor Cobalt all the way back. What happened there? Not entirely sure, but Vapor Cobalt heading into the pits must have had some sort of trouble. Certainly bad luck. Could also just be the old issues we've had with the grid not exactly being set. Because I do know Big Baguette is currently in the lead. Definitely is not Let's Get Fiscal. And Trulson will take over in third for now, with Vapor Trench in fourth, with the miscue from Vapor Cobalt. Let's see if Big Baguette can have any separation between himself and Greeny. Greeny just has to kind of keep an eye on Big Baguette. As long as he comes across the finish line directly behind him, he'll be just fine. Cup-wise, you see Crunchy Trees now having an issue as we get a virtual safety car. He gets himself righted and manages to pull out in front of Justice, who has also found himself in the back of the pack early on. Definitely got to make sure you don't pick up any penalties during this virtual safety car. Big Baguette, an absolute champion at not picking up penalties, period. Greeny maybe less so, but usually has the pace to make up for them. Meanwhile, we see Bostrup picking up a drive-through penalty for speeding under that virtual safety car. So Let's Get Fiscal's managed to move himself back up into 14th for now. Take a look at these closer intervals. Let's Get Fiscal riding on the back of Vapor Elian as Vapor Alien then spins out in front of Let's Get Fiscal. Let's Get Fiscal managing to get by without finding contact. Not entirely sure what happened there to Vapor Alien, as I'm sure he's got some damage. Yes, indeed, it looks like the left wing end plate is torn clean off. As Let's Get Fiscal looks to chase down teammate Less Steep and Twig. Let's move on to Worried Cloud. Started at the back of the pack, currently in 10th. Not bad, Worried Cloud, as he is on the back of Nicholas Volkman. Looks to maybe take a pass on the outside of the turn there. Yeah, it looks like he is just going to get that done. Maybe a bit of contact coming between these two. Knocking over Cone, but managing to stick that pass from Nicholas Volkman, and Worried Cloud moves up yet another position. Definitely seen a lot of miscues here early on in this race. Big Baguette has built almost a full second lead on Greeny. Vapor Trench kind of hanging tight with Greeny as well. Gourlay thinking about a move here on sticks, as Worried Cloud unfortunately does pick up a penalty. Has managed to make up quite a bit of places, but you know, you gotta be a little bit more careful to not pick up those easily avoidable 3-second penalties, especially this early on. Alien's heading into the pits to get that wing looked at. Meanwhile, a very late break there from Gourlay. Honestly, lucky to not cause a collision there, and is passed by Worried Cloud. Looked like he got maybe a little too greedy, and instead of getting a pass done on sticks, has to give up the position. Now Worried Cloud is the next to try to make a move on sticks. See if he has better luck than Gourlay. Pretty close margins all the way up and down right now. A bit of a break between 6 and 7. A bit of a break between 13 and 14. And then very spread out after P14. But honestly, relatively close up and down here as Greeny started to cut into that Big Baguette interval. Alright, let's flip it up to the top and see if Greeny gets a pass done on Big Baguette. Manages to not break late. They do have a bit of touching with Big Baguette and Greeny. Greeny does get the pass done, and now it is Big Baguette's turn to be just a bit behind Greeny, as he'll look to try his best to chase down Greeny here. Vapor Trench also trying to cause a bit of a ruckus here, get in amongst these two fighting for the cup in this race. See a yellow flag in sector 2. See the red sniper eye. Since recovered, meanwhile Worried Cloud can another 3-second time penalty. past his teammate Lesty the Twig. Vapor Cobalt also doing his best to get back into this race after early race woes, currently in P16. KJ doing excellent work as well. P6, Chensky turning in a very good race so far for him, P5 currently. Meanwhile, Gourlay passed by Worry Cloud. Not entirely sure what happened. Worry Cloud able to pick it up pretty well. Nicholas Holtman now and Sticks both also slipping by Gourlay. Josh Smith is picking up the penalty. Ooh, and we see Gourlay. I thought that might have happened. A bit of damage, and Gourlay loses some big positions there as Let's Get Fiscal's also managed to close the gap on Lesty, who in turn is right on the back of Josh Smithness. So maybe a double pass in the cards here for Let's Get Fiscal. Let's see if he can make the most of it. See KJ head into the pits. So all 20 drivers surviving the first 7 laps of this race. Let's see if this will be a little creative with the track limits there. But still on the back of his teammate, Leslie the Twig. Both Fiscal and Leslie on those mediums, as is Worry Cloud. So when these softs pit, we'll probably see these 3, that is Worry Cloud, Leslie, and Let's Get Fiscal, leading the way for at least a few laps. So they also have to pit onto a different composite. Let's Get Fiscal able to get a pass done on Leslie the Twig along the outside of turn 10, that was. Fiscal will now get to work on Nicholas Bolt, also on the softs. Vapor Trench, our first soft tired competitor to pit, besides the ones who pitted earlier for structural damage. Fits onto the mediums. Meanwhile, Big Baguette already almost 2 seconds back of Greeny. He's gonna have to try to pull out all the cards to keep pace with this man, as he's now outside of that DRS window as well. And Let's Get Fiscal, our first driver to DNF here. Looks like Vapor Trench really went into Let's Get Fiscal hard, and we do have a safety car. Great news for our soft tired drivers. See Fiscal set wide into the wall there. Oof. Bad luck for Let's Get Fiscal as the safety car comes underway. Bunched back up here with the safety car. As Let's Get Fiscal with a rare DNF, certainly a sour taste will be left in his mouth at the end of this season. Still an excellent season for Let's Get Fiscal. I certainly think that he has a lot to be proud of. As we see the pits drivers pitting in droves here. It looks like we'll see Greeny come back out, still in P1 behind the safety car, which maybe gets caught a little flat-footed as Greeny tries to come in through. Top 5 remained unchanged for the last several laps. Certainly maybe a bit of help for Big Baguette to kind of get back into this race. Able to get that gap closed just if for no other reason. The safety car will allow him to start right on Greeny's tail. And I've just received word that we will be getting a special guest on stream. So give me one moment to get him into the party here. All right, welcome. Let's get fiscal.
Good evening.
To the stream. So, you know, we saw a rare DNF from you there. You want to take us through what happened? I saw that there was some contact between yourself and Vapor Trench, but beyond that, unfortunately, not caught on stream.
Right. He was just coming out of the pit lane, and we were pretty much side by side, but because I had a little bit of yellow damage on the wing, I just understeered into the back of him, caught the back end of him, and then spun both of us round. He hit the wall but survived, I hit the wall, died.
It's bad luck. You know, we were actually talking earlier on the stream, and by we, of course, I mean me, myself, and I, about how that pit exit can definitely cause a potential danger, and unfortunately it seems to have maybe hit you where you weren't quite ready for it. But on the bright side, it means that you know, we have an extra commentator in the booth for the rest of the race.
This is true.
So what are your feelings on the race? Do you think Big Baguette has a chance to slip by Greeny? Do you think that it basically comes down to whether or not Greeny makes a mistake? How do you think the cup turns out?
Well, I think Greeny's in position to pull away with it, isn't he? He's in P1 at the moment. Obviously, Baguette's going to try his best to keep up with him. So it'll be an interesting battle to see. But you'd think Greeny would maintain pull away.
Does Greeny stay out for the 18 laps on the mediums? Do you think remaining?
No, they're never going to last. Hards might last. So people like Justice and Bostrup might make it to the end, but mediums are never making it to the end on this track.
So do you think that that could play into it with, for example, Worried Cloud going onto the softs and potential pit, maybe a potential second safety car? We still do have 19 drivers on the grid. Do you think if we see another safety car in the next few laps, we see these drivers maybe switching onto hards to try to take them for the rest of the way?
Yeah, an early safety car now could be quite interesting. It could work out quite well for any soft runners, so Cloud and Killer, because the medium runners aren't going to really want to concede track position so early. But let's say if there's a safety car in about 5 laps time, mediums could make it to the end. So it'll be interesting to see.
Certainly could be. As we wait for the safety car to head off, this I imagine will be the final lap with the safety car in.
Yeah. Did you catch my incident in turn 3 on lap 1?
I did, in fact. That was quite fun to watch on stream. Not entirely sure what caused it, as it happened pretty quickly, but we were on you when it occurred, and the camera crew did a really nice job capturing that nice spin out.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the cameras. Ended up facing the wrong way, which was fun.
Yeah, you definitely want to avoid that the best you can.
That's what caused it. I'm not entirely sure. I felt sort of some contact from behind and just got spun around. I think it might have been a case of a pinch point, maybe. Maybe there was a car to the right of me. I think there was maybe one car sort of behind us, maybe trying to slip through the middle. And if I veered across, or the other guys veered across, then it just becomes a bit of a pinch point. I don't think there was any intent from
I don't think so either.
the contact.
Yeah, honestly, really tough first lap for a lot of folks. I mean, you ended up being spun. Red Sniper was, shunted all the way to the end. Vapor Cobalt started in P3 and, found himself all the way at the back. So definitely a pretty difficult first lap for a lot of drivers. And then you had, drivers like Lori Cloud and KJ Tachensky making the most of the pandemonium of that first lap and doing an excellent job to kind of make their way up the grid. As we see cat and mouse going down here between Greeny and Big Baguette.
Yeah, not a great start for the Renault boys, but I think my safety car probably was well timed for Leslie, so we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, hopefully Leslie
fresh wing,
get it going. Exactly. And Greeny unable to really get a lot of separation on that restart. What's the trick to a good restart? What would you say is? What do you look for in a safety car restart? What kind of interval build would you consider to be a successful restart for the lead driver?
I think as leader you've just got to try and go when the guy behind you as someone's had an incident.
The Smokeman looks like.
Maybe.
Was Lori Cloud, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Cloud, yes. I think as leader you've just got to try and pick a spot to go where the guy behind you is least expecting it. So I often try to go really early or really late and just try and surprise them. Say Baguette stood well to keep it in 2/10 of Greeny, so Greeny hasn't been too successful in that restart.
Honestly, can't say enough good things about Trulson's form in the last few races. He was kind of something I noted in the first half of the season is that he tended to kind of drive to contact a lot, maybe taking some risky maneuvers more frequently than he should. But I really think his pace has come a really long way. You can see it in the qualifying just through the last half of the season or so.
His driving skills definitely improved. Tries to keep out of danger now, and that's it's paying off for him.
There goes Gorley into the wall, able to avoid losing a tire and manages to spin out right next to the pit, so he'll be able to just head right in.
That's
bad luck for Malay.
Yep, Boltman's in the pits as well. Still had damage.
Yep, indeed. I wonder if you picked up damage from Lori Cloud's SQ earlier on.
Yeah, I think it must be. Boltman's on the soft, so those are never going to last to the end. He's obviously up for the full power safety car.
Yeah, just counting on the safety. I mean, 19 drivers on the grid. I don't think a safety car is necessarily outside the road.
Gorley's had a moment. Gorley's had a moment. The pit exit just in the tunnel. Has completely murked his right wing.
Oh no, that's a shame. Yeah, he's having trouble already. Might get a Oh yeah, his right wing is entirely gone, isn't it?
It's a very tight exit. Obviously, you go through the tunnel and then underneath the track. You
Right.
obviously just misjudged that.
I have a feeling he'll be visiting the pits again here. And he's just hoping to hang on until a potential safety car.
Yeah, he's got to pit again. That right wing's completely gone.
Big Baguette still managing to hang in and have a second with the lead.
Yep, doing well. DRS should get activated soon, so maybe we'll see a pass.
There it is.
Sticks is doing well. P6.
Yeah, indeed. Especially considering I believe he qualified outside the top 10.
Yeah.
Position
I think
change.
he did, yeah.
Yeah, he's Sticks and Word Cloud both moved up 13 positions.
Ooh, Mercedes going very wide at turn 1 there. Battles in P10, 11, 12, I think.
Yeah, in that right now. Definitely some close driving there.
Trench slips it up the inside. And won't get it done, but he should have DRS advantage.
Yeah, it looks like Trench does. And it looks like he's going to be at the front of that bunch as he takes a P10, looking to chase down Richie Trees in P9 now. Still some very close driving going on behind with KJ kind of wheel to wheel as well.
Yep, KJ's got a little bit of damage.
Indeed, that right wing end plate looks like it has gone missing. Picks up another penalty.
P11 through P17, all of a penalty of sorts.
Right, as well as Lesty and Rory both picking up penalties as well. Although your teammate doing quite well to hang tight in P5 right now. It does look like he's got a bit of wing damage as well, though. Pick up a good angle on it. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like the left.
Front left. Yeah, that'll be hurt this time a little bit.
Tristan also managed to keep it pretty close to our leaders here, managing to stay inside of 1 second to get that DRS once again.
Yep, Trilson's doing well, but if you notice he's used all of his ERS, while the two guys ahead, managing it quite well. So we might see him drop off as he starts derating.
Yeah, I imagine that's likely. I think that it was a gamble to see if maybe he can just hang tight with these fellows until a potential...
Oh, pass from Baguette, tries to go around the outside, switches back to the inside, and then
bit of wheel touching there too. Baguette cannot afford to have any sort of damage. He's got to be able to maintain.
The flags, sector 2, 3, Justice is off.
Yep. So comes back to the track, right with Josh Sweetness. Back up to the top. Let's see if... I'll have you keep an eye on that group back there. I'll keep an eye on the top stream. See if Big Baguette can get past down on Greeny. Still hanging tight inside of 0.4 of a second, but that ERS is down under 10%. Oh, and we have a DNF that's Qualstrup.
And a safety car.
And a safety car. That'll make things interesting, won't it?
Yep, so let's see, we've got 22 laps to go. I still don't think mediums from now will make it.
I think you should check your math there, my friend.
12. 12 laps on mediums, yeah, they'll make it, yeah.
So we'll see pits, I would imagine.
From pretty much everyone.
From everyone, and with the way that it's spread out, looks like the bottom half will be able to get in and out of the pits before the top half comes through. So there shouldn't be any team issues that I can see.
Yep, agree.
looks like everybody should have a chance to get in and out of the pits here. And then we'll be on for about what was it, a 22 lap sprint, you said?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, as an accountant, you don't actually have to be good at maths.
Ah, that's good. That's good to know. For all of you children out there watching, just know that if you'd like to be an accountant, no reason to be good at maths. You heard it from Let's Get Fiscal First.
28 minus 16, aka 22.
Carry the 1, divide by 0. Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
So I guess we'll go ahead and take a quick look at the penalties while we're on the safety car, as we see our top of the grid drivers heading into the pits as well. Greenie has picked up, it looks like, a warning. Big Baguette has picked up a single warning. Chensky's had a couple of warnings.
Red Sniper Idol stays out. Will he be able to nab P1? He might be able to do it.
Yeah, it looks like he will.
It's going to be right to the line, I think.
Looks like he's going to have that.
Just, yeah. Track position.
That could definitely make things interesting for Greenie, so he'll not be forced to make a pass. What do you think of that gamble from Red Sniper? I mean, his mediums aren't going to last him to the end.
Let's just be careful with the maths here. So he's going to have to do 19 laps on their mediums. 18, 19 laps. He could make it. He could make it. They will be very worn at the end, but he's going to be a sit duck to Greenie.
Oh, absolutely, especially towards the end.
He's going to be a sit duck to everyone. But track position is powerful.
It is indeed, and he spent most of this race at the, if not the very back, near the back of the grid. So maybe just looking to spice up the end of this race, as Morgan notes in the chat.
Interesting that P2 and P3 are on mediums, with P4, P5 are on softs.
Yeah, that could definitely be interesting. Trulson managing to get out of the pits a little quicker too than Baguette. Maybe Baguette took a little bit of damage.
Yeah, he was battling very closely with Greenie, so maybe he got a little bit of light damage.
And him going on to softs, 11 laps for softs, I mean, I just don't see it.
Again, they'll be extremely worn at the end. Puncture territory, but they might just make it.
Could be very, very interesting. Maybe Baguette just hoping that the softer composite tire allows him to do a little better battle with Greenie. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, I think we should see Baguette quite easily past Trulson and probably have a good go at Greenie, because Greenie's going to be held up by Red Sniper. I think what we probably will see is Baguette manage to take the lead fairly easily in the first few laps on that better compound, but we'll probably then see Greenie and Trulson come back at him.
Just hate to see a driver pick up a penalty under safety car.
Yeah, 3 seconds there, I think. It's just probably a lack of concentration. All it takes is just to touch a curb where he shouldn't in a safety car. And he's actually lucky to get 3 seconds there. Often we find the safety car exceeding track limits and corner cuttings on the safety car are quite a little bit harsher. The reason for that is there's more to gain when everyone else is under delta. So he's fairly fortunate to get away with 3 seconds, but obviously not what he wanted to see. As Gawley's in the pits, I think he's getting a fresh set of softs, just as he's obviously going to be in a better position to get the end on them softs, because they'll be just 2 laps younger.
He's just got to make sure he gets out of these pits before getting lapped, which he should have no trouble doing.
Yeah.
He's already out and on the track. I think he joins the train before we get our restart.
Yeah, he should just join it as the safety car probably comes round round 3 corners before the end. I'd say.
He'll
Right
have
next
a
to the
couple
3 on
straights to
track.
make up time.
So it looks like it's arriving at sector 3 now, I think. Looks like we might have another lap.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Lights are still on. So indeed, one more lap under safety car, so Gourlay should have no trouble rejoining the pack here.
If I was crunchy... Oh, that's a very late call from the safety car to come in there.
Indeed, yeah. Just with a couple of turns to go, the safety car heads into the pits. And we'll get a restart here to see what Red Sniper Eye has up his sleeve. Trees also picking up a 3-second time penalty there. It's going to be a really interesting battle here up at the top. See who gets past first, either Red Sniper or Trulson, by Greenie or Big Baguette, respectively. Kind of looks like Baguette's laying in wait, not using any of his ERS. Well, Trulson's already been through a big chunk of his.
Yeah, just biding his time.
Red Sniper also dipping heavily into the ERS there to try to fend off an advance from Greenie.
Yellow flags.
It's got to be Vapor, KJ.
KJ, I think, yeah.
Nah, it's Vapor Elian.
Alien, yeah.
See Elian as he gets back on the track. It's going to be a really tight train up here between the top four, or at least the next lap or two, until Greenie or Baguette takes it back over the lead, I believe.
Trulson's already derated. It's not even the end of the lap. You might see Baguette pass him on the straight here.
Yep.
Problems for KG, I think. Fourth wing end plate's missing for KG.
Did not want KJ wanted Justice having issues now. He's spun again by Mini Keller. Passed by 4 drivers now. Crunchy, Mini Keller, Volkman, and Josh Smith all getting by Justice there. And Big Baguette does get the pass done on Trulson. So what is the red wrench on the bottom right of the car?
On Trulson's car, that is, he is getting told to... sorry, that means his teammate is in the pits. So that basically recommends that he doesn't go in the pits because the team will have to double stack him. In reality, as long as you're not within sort of 5 seconds of your teammate, you should be fine. Because your team will have time to change their tyres, get ready for you. So it's the red wrench is advisory that the team is in the pits. The yellow wrench, I believe. Whoa, big incident between Trulson and Trench, I think.
Yeah, Trulson falls all the way
really
out. That was
high
right after
speed
picking
there.
up a 3-second penalty. So Trulson drops way back. Trench managing to keep it on the track, stays in P4. As Gourlay also, I believe, got stacked up there. Lots of penalties coming through. Big Baguette picking up a 5-second penalty for a collision with Greenie.
That'll probably get removed. What's happened there is one of them's went in and just touched each other under the VSC. Depending on what it looks like, those will probably get removed.
And Trulson's retiring from the race after having a really solid first 3 quarters of the race. He is out of the race. We have a VSC.
Yeah, a little bit frustrating for Trull, I guess. I just caught the back end of the crash. I saw Trulson spinning. I can't remember who it was with. I don't know if it was with Keller or trench, but I think
Killer
Coulson's
also
on the
picked
outside.
up a big penalty there. 5 seconds, he's back to P15, so it might have been. As KJ picks up another mental mistake there, speeding under the virtual safety car.
It's going to be a drive through for him. At 5 second speed in the pit lane. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him retire, to be honest. Not a good day for the Haas boys.
There he goes, called it. And it looks like Big Baguette's going to get a pass done. Ooh, a bit of bumping there as Greeny manages to get the pass back from Big Baguette, taking over P1, as these two will continue to go at it. Big Baguette looking like he's out of answers for a way to get by Greeny here, despite being on the soft gear plaza. Maybe taking some chances to try to get by as quickly as possible before the softs get warm.
We'll have DRS now, I think. Not sure what happened to Red Sniper Eye. Did you see what happened to him?
No, I'm not sure either. He might have been caught up in that collision.
Yeah, I mean, he's pitted for soft, so he must have had damage.
Notice who's back in the top 5 is Vapor Cobalt. He's kind of kept his nose clean and worked his way back up this grid. Worry Cloud also. Despite, he's got at least 2 3-second penalties that I can remember. Just Worry Cloud. It's really going to be quite interesting to see if Big Baguette can get this pass done and maybe build up some point, some level of space between himself and Greeny.
Let's see, looks like he's going for it now. DRS open, DRS. Overtake, here he comes. Ooh, lots of movement there.
Just unable to fool Greeny. Greeny closing off the passing window.
Lots of movement in the braking zone there. We'd have to potentially look at that as stewards, but the race goes on.
So what do you mean by that?
So movement in the braking zone refers to obviously, when drivers pick the braking point, it's sort of frowned upon to then subsequently steer left or right as you're braking when there's a car quite close to you, because the car that's close to you is already at max capacity braking, if that makes sense. So they can't physically brake any harder. So what that means is if someone does move in the braking zone, it can cause quite nasty accidents. It's obviously heavily frowned upon in real life, and drivers do get penalised for it, and we adopt the same approach here. It's basically sort of border on dangerous driving. There's no need to move under brake. Not very unsportsmanlike almost. It's obviously the fine line between how much is deemed illegal or not. But if a report does come in, we'll obviously look at it.
You know, these top 5 being as close together as they are, a simple miscue from Greeny could set Baguette up for, as he is going again for the pass here. Looks like
hands on this time. So close.
And Greeny picking up a 3-second time penalty.
That would likely get.
Greeny spun. He's in the grass. Looks like he'll come back, get back on the track around. Oh, and he's into the wall. Oh no. As Greeny resets to track there.
Ooh, naughty, very naughty. Yeah, I think it was all sort of illegal. Legal. It was close, hard racing. What I would say is that penalty would probably get removed, that 3-second penalty, because he was fighting for the car. There's nowhere else to go, and there's no obvious advantage gain. But then obviously he's
cost himself more than 3 seconds, I think, with where he's ended up in the grid.
Yeah.
As Big Baguette, now the gamble of going on to the softs, will it pay off? Is the big question. Does he go ahead and head into the pits now, knowing that he has at least
a pits window of time built up on Greeny?
I think Baguette. I think the softs will last. Just about. I think if I was him, I might consider pit just to make sure he doesn't get the puncture. But don't.
Right, it's just a 6-point window,
right
so
now.
as long as he finishes, around 3 or 4 spots ahead of Greeny.
Then he's got it.
Yeah, he's got it.
But of course, he's going to want to win it in style. It looks like if Trench doesn't pick any penalties, Trench will get the in-game P1. But like I say, the 5-second collision with Baguette and Greeny, they both got 5-second penalties under the SC, which, without having seen them, I'd guess would get removed.
Sure. So Baguette's going to keep it out there. He does look like he might be having a little bit of trouble with the tire grip. He's come out of a couple of turns a little loose. It's a little tighter. Word Cloud doing a good job to keep pace with Vapor Cobalt, both on about 5% ERS. Well, until the break.
Yeah, definitely well done from him. Same tyre compound, similar sort of ERS, doing very well to keep up with him.
Again, Word Cloud starting all the way at the back of the grid in this race. Finds himself in
Yep.
P4.
Serving the quali ban. We've said it once and we'll say it again. Quali ban is overpowered.
No kidding. We did see Greeny get a win after his quali ban earlier in the season.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it just takes the pressure off the driver or what, but we have seen it quite a few times where someone comes from P20, P19 and ends up on the podium.
I don't think Word Cloud will see a podium. He also has, like I said, over 6 seconds of penalties, but I think he can rest assured that he probably ran one of the best races of his season today, for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Although still 4 laps to go, so let's not speak too early, or 14 laps depending on the announcer. Continuing to show just absolutely impressive pace. Very impressed with this race today. Can't say enough good things about it. Bachenski's also, I mean, honestly, a lot of these drivers up here in the top 10 have run really solid races. Bachenski, Styx, Lesty, I mean, all guys that you don't usually see in the top 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
I think they've got to be really happy with how they've run their race here in Abu Dhabi.
Yep, and Lesty's just trying to line up a move on Styx. He's on the harder tyre compound, but Styx is D-rated, so we might see a pass at the end of this straight. DRS assistant.
Keep it on Lesty to see if the old teammate can get it done here. And in the chat, Morgan's reminding me that he called the Greeny spin out, so well done. Although I believe you predicted a Greeny DNF, so not quite perfect, but I'll give you half credit. We'll call it Morgan. Don't think Lesty's going to be able to pull this off with a harder composite, so we'll take a look at Worried Cloud. Once again, just 0.3 of a second behind Cobalt. Wouldn't it be something if Worried Cloud manages to get a pass on Vapor Cobalt, a very speedy, pace-driven Vapor Cobalt?
Yep, we definitely know Cobalt's fast, so if Cloud manages to get it done, it'll be a good achievement for him. What is the penalty status with Cobalt?
As far as I know, Cobalt has 3 seconds of penalties, so even if Cloud manages to get by, I don't think he'll finish ahead of him. But I'm sure it would just be good for his
morale.
It would,
going into
yeah,
the season,
it would
I
be a
guess.
solid takeaway for him to know that he's able not only to keep pace with Vapor Cobalt, but get the pass in. Going into the next season, I think that'll be something good to draw on for Worry Cloud.
Yeah, Cobalt's on just a penalty, so he's got quite a bit of leeway before he gets more penalties. Should have 2 more runs in the bag before he gets a penalty.
I think it'll be an
might
easy
say
podium
Cloud.
And Trench has gotten the pass done on Big Baguette now.
Interesting. So that's obviously the softs have given up on Baguette. So he's only got 1 lap left to go.
I don't know. Do you think that we see him pit just to avoid a puncture, and now that he's not going to win the race?
It would seem not. Yep.
Wouldn't it?
There's still quite a bit of time between the tyres giving up and actually getting a puncture. If I had to guess, his tyres maybe at 60%.
Okay. Should be okay.
And
At the very least, get him through most of this lap.
Even worst case scenario, if we did get a puncture right now, I think he's got more than enough time to get round ahead of Greeny easily.
Yeah, but I mean, he would.
The points.
It would be really interesting though, because he would only have to be passed by about 6 drivers before, or I guess maybe 7 or 8 drivers, I would say, before he doesn't earn enough points from his finish to get by those 6 that he needs.
Yeah, true. He's got about 10 seconds on the likes of P7, P8.
And I'd say at this point he's probably in the clear even with the puncture. Red Sniper picking up a 3-second time penalty.
Well, it's good to see Trench. Looks like he's going to take the win after the incident with me. I just felt that the incident was never his fault. It was maybe a little bit of my fault. I should have probably recognised the fact that I had a little bit of damage and not try and take the corner normally. So I felt a little bit guilty, but he's going to get the win, so that's the guilt off my shoulders.
Trench just wanted to make sure that you were in the announcer's booth to watch him secure the win as he comes across the line in first. Big Baguette following in second. Vapor Cobalt looks like he will come across the line in third. Worry Cloud for now coming across the line in fourth. Might drop below Pachensky, who does not have any penalties. Indeed, he does.
Yeah.
As does Styx, Westy, Josh. Yeah, so Worry Cloud having to drop almost out of the top 10.
All the way. Yeah.
Looks like he'll finish in 10. Still, I still think just based on the job that he did, I gotta give Worry Cloud my driver of the day.
Yeah, he's got to take the positives from that track position, albeit more penalties than everyone else. Like, he's got to.
Yeah, but that's something that you can actively
Gotta
work
be
on,
happy with
whereas
that.
pace is something that sometimes is a little harder to come by. So big congratulations to Big Baguette winning the cup this season. I'm sure that
First
I'll
time.
definitely ask him about that come the post-race interviews. So certainly stick around as Styx gets the in-game driver of the day nod. It's also an excellent race from Styx. Fiscal, would you like to hang around for the post-race interviews?
Of course.
Of course. All right. Well, why don't you add our top 3 to the party then? Because apparently my audio tends to cut out when I go to the party screen.
We were saying Trench, Baguette, and Cobalt.
That's correct.
Just quickly get the results.
So it looks like Worried Cloud had 15 seconds of penalties, so just a few more seconds than the 6 I thought.
Yeah, and those were all 3-second penalties, I think, weren't they? 5 3-second penalties.
So,
I think Styx is my driver of the day. P19 to P5, very good result.
Yeah, I think that would be absolutely valid driver of the day. Definitely nothing wrong with that, as we're being joined by our top 3 drivers here. Williams almost coming back in the team constructor standings too on Ferrari there. Very, very close, but it looks like Team Ferrari will get the win as far as the team constructor standings go. All right, we have our top 3 finishers, and normally I do an order from 3rd to 2nd to 1st, but I'll be flipping and doing 3rd, 1st, and then 2nd, and I think we can all figure out why, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. So, first of all, Vapor Cobalt, congratulations on the 3rd place finish. You were kind of all over the grid today, huh?
Yeah. Especially after getting sideswiped by True, but...
Yeah, well, we were saying on stream that Trulson's definitely come away a little bit from his contact driving, maybe taking less chances than he did in the first half of the season. But of course, old habits do die hard. And you managed to work your way back up, and you finished with impressive pace to earn that P3. What were your thoughts coming out of that second safety car, where it looked like you were going to have a solid window to work your way back up into the grid?
Honestly, I wasn't really thinking much. I was just listening to Trench over here complain.
So the American way, not thinking about much. I can certainly understand and sympathize with that. What are your thoughts? Full season under the belt. This is your first season, albeit a half season, with you as a full-time driver.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to next season?
I'm looking for another fun season. Pretty close, especially towards the end here with the point gaps, but yeah.
Well, congratulations once again, on P3 finish today. It looks like you'll finish in 3rd in the overall driver standings. So big congratulations to you, Vapor Cobalt. Well-deserved P3 here today.
Thank you.
Vapor Trench, welcome. I believe this is the first time we've had a chance to sit down and talk.
Yeah, probably is, yeah.
So congratulations. I guess the first thing I can say is making sure it's not entirely Big Baguette's night, and managing to take that P1 in style. I got to tell you, my co-commentator, Let's Get Fiscal, was feeling a little, I guess, guilty of the tap he gave you early on, and was happy to see you come across the line first.
Nah, I think it was much of a much. This is racing, because we're both going for the same bit of track. And he's in my blind spot, and I couldn't see his arrows, so it's just one of them things, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it can happen. No big deal. Trench, as I was kind of looking over the season results, you tend to get a lot of wins. You really, I'd say you and Greeny. I think you might have been 1 or 2. Well, I think with today's result, 1 win behind Greeny's mark on the season.
I really do.
How do you turn in all these consistent results, getting so many P1s under your belt?
To be fair, I just capitalise on others' safety cars. Like a lot of times, safety cars just save me. Like Singapore, when I won that track, I was just at the back for most of it. Then the wet come, and most people in the league know that when it's the rain, like I don't know what happens. I don't feel like I'm fast, but I faster than everyone else. So it's weird.
To be
I don't know.
On any given day, right? It's just faster than everybody else.
Yeah, well, yeah, try to be, but normally it's just safety cars happen and then just pick the best strategy for it. And yeah, today.
Well, it's always nice when plan comes together. So same question I gave Cobalt. With this season in the bag, is there anything that you're going to work on or concentrate on moving into the next season that's starting here in the next week or so?
Try to finish more in the points, because I could have easily put a bigger fight up this season. There's a couple of races. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Well, I had like 2 DNFs, I think, in a row, like Russia and whatever the track before then is, where I didn't finish. And even if I scored 10 points, that would have put me in the hunt for
Yeah,
the
and the
championship
other
this
thing,
season.
I'll tell you, maybe a little advice from the announcer here. Attendance, my friend. You missed a couple of races too. That
Yeah, I know.
might have cost you.
Yeah. Also, I need to hire a new teammate as well.
Yeah, maybe so. Although your team did end up just 77 points out of the win. But
Really?
yeah, definitely maybe take a look at that aspect
Yeah.
as well.
My back kind of hurts now, so I need definitely to get a
Doesn't
teammate.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the win today, Vip Trench, and good luck moving into the next season.
Thank you.
And now to the man of the evening, our Season 8 Bette Jalle Cup winner, Big Baguette. Congratulations, Big Baguette.
Cheers, thanks very much. Has it been confirmed? I don't know. No,
It's been updated in the document, so I'm gonna say yes in the Excel. It's been confirmed. It looks like you
Congratulations.
finished with an 11-point gap between yourself and Greeny. So, what are you thinking about right now, having gone through the gauntlet this season and come out on top?
Yeah, it's I can't really remember too much this season. I think it's sort of I've had a couple ups and downs, a few races, but generally speaking, I think it's more my consistency, which sort of allowed me to sort of stay in that sort of top 3 most of the season, where a lot of other drivers like Greeny and Trench and all that maybe didn't have that consistency.
Hungry.
So dropping points. No, I think that factor played, the sort of the biggest role in obviously getting this championship. But I guess I must have had a bit of luck as well here and there. But
I don't know about that. I mean, week in, week out, when you're turning in top 5 after top 5, I mean, I honestly, for the life of me, can't really think of too many races that you even ended up outside the top 3, let alone the top 5. And you and Let's Get Fiscal are two of my favorite drivers, just in that you almost never get penalized. You know these tracks so well that you guys just run very clean races, and sometimes that's the difference. When you're not picking up those 3 or 5 second penalties, and you can move up that way. But I have to say, Big Baguette, big congratulations to you, man. So I'll ask you, the same question I asked Cobalt and Trench. What are your thoughts moving into the next season? Is there anything that you want to work on? Do you just want to take this next week and relax? What exactly are you looking forward to with the next season?
Yeah, I reckon just try and continue this sort of form. Again, just focus on minimizing penalties and just finishing around the top. That's kind of it, to be fair. I'm not really going to change too much. I think what I do works quite well. I might not be the quickest, but like Kieran, I think we can sort of both say that it's not about your sort of lap time. It's about just consistency. So hopefully I can take that over into the next season and potentially grab another championship.
Yeah, it certainly has been an absolute treat to watch that consistency that you bring every race, Baguette. Once again, a big congratulations to you, my friend. I wish you nothing but luck moving forward, and it was a very well-earned Cup victory tonight. So, big congratulations. Thank you to everyone who joined us here on stream throughout the season. Hopefully, we'll see you guys in the next, I think May 5th is our first race of our next season. So hopefully we'll see all of you then. And until then, this is your man on the mic, Ben Silver, saying see ya.
Hey. It's been amazing. Best comms we've had. Well, only comms we've had, but
hey, I'll take it. You could have left it at best. You could have absolutely left it at best, and I don't think anyone would have complained.
I've always looked forward to going back and watching the stream just so I can just hear what you have to say and all that. So I just want to say a big thank you.
Yeah, Ben, what happened to True? You know how he collided when going side by side? That's what happened to me, but I was on the inside.
Gotcha.
Left him space and he just
he just decided he didn't want it. That'll happen sometimes.
He used me as a brake. We were talking about this in the chat. If I hit this current at the correct
Sometimes that's what you need. It's just a little extra help to break. Real quick, last thing I'll say before we sign off on stream. I have learned so much about F1 this season. I came into it knowing nothing about it. Fiscal asked me to pick up comms, and I've learned so much about pretty much everything. But it's kind of felt nice because these last few races, I feel like I'm not having to just make shit up as much. So I feel like I'm coming along a little bit as we go. But it definitely has been a lot of fun, and I appreciate the kind words from you fellas.
Well done.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All